so that the applicant can hear from all of the public. So they may not be coming here to present. I don't know yet. But the purpose of the public hearing is to hear from the public, not to be,
Right, no,
you
I
know,
understand.
so direct, but.
I mean, that said, there were certain things that we had addressed at the last village board meeting that I had discussed, that I had found in the zoning. So, I mean, and then the village board said that that would be given to the planning board. So I don't know if you received it. I also went back on after we spoke for emails that there is no way I can contact. I mean, I know where some of them live, but I'm not knocking on doors. The only email addresses on the site, on the village website is yours, Joe, and Christine's. That's it.
I thought mine was as well.
Everyone's emails.
Mine should be on.
I have looked 3-4 times in different areas. I cannot, you can click on a name, it doesn't. It brings up, it doesn't. So, you know, I mean, there were things that you said you would, you know, it would be easier for me to just be able to contact directly, like you had said, just reach out to you and.
We don't, and I mentioned to you after the last village meeting, we don't have contact with the village boards. It was brought to our attention that maybe that's what we should be doing. We should be sitting down with the planning board and zoning board. No.
Right, so
Independent boards.
So understand this, so I.
That's my definition of corruptness.
Oh, no, okay, I understand, but then if that's the case, then how, like, for example, I came in on a Wednesday, I had requested something, one of the trustees was there and said that they would address it with the planning board, because I couldn't get in touch with.
Okay.
And I
So,
did.
I know, I didn't,
No, I know, let's go ahead, it's okay.
Probably send an email that this person's.
right, but if the boards aren't supposed to correspond with each other,
Well, I
then,
sent the request to the chairperson because I did not want to give you their personal email.
right,
So
and I
reached out
understood.
to them and they said they were going to get in touch with you with what you requested.
So should there be a better way where we can get in touch with a board member rather than going through?
So typically at the beginning of my meetings, I do publicize my email address. So I don't know if it's on the website or not, we can check, but I do always give out my planning board email address at the beginning of every meeting, so that if anybody is watching the recording back, they'll know how to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you can always email the building department, who is our contact as well. Building department
Okay, so
receives.
but is it your private email? Because I wasn't, I would.
It's an email address that I use for planning board business only.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yep, and I'm happy to give it to
But
you.
so each member, they don't have their own email address, each
They use
board
their own
member?
private
So
email.
like, she's saying Blooming Grove, you can go on Blooming Grove's website, and the entire planning board has a email address associated with the town. It's not a private email. So if I want to send a document, I can make sure every planning board member gets the same document and not put the burden on the chair to have to share.
So the only comment I could say to that is when I email my board members, it's always on blind carbon copy, because emailing all the board members in one and any sort of discussion that can take place could violate open meetings law if we're
Okay.
discussing something together.
Right,
So if
it's-
anything does come to me, I typically discuss it with the attorney first and then circulate it to the board.
You're right here.
So is there a way for me at this point then to?
I can give you my email address at the end of this meeting, sure.
Maybe when I asked them to update the names over
Did you
here.
get the request?
We're just looking at it now, and you are correct. So we will send the emails for the trustees out to a webmaster in the morning. Okay?
So you
As
all
far
have a
as-
village website,
Yes.
right?
Village
But the,
email.
but the
Village
planning,
email.
right, I'm sorry, email.
Yep.
But the planning board does not.
And ZBA,
ZBA.
they should have village email addresses since they are sworn in members of the village leadership. That's, I guess, way to put it, or governments.
No, I think you hit it right the first time. All right, so we need to, one email for planning board, one email for zoning board.
Each individual member should have an email address. Every person that took an oath of office to sit up there should have their own email address for their position, regardless what board it is.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. We're still gonna call you for that other stuff. You're not getting off the hook, you know that, right?
Probably both of us were in trouble.
Wait, but I have her because she's gonna work with me on the facilities usage. Back off, Mayor Bucko.
I don't know. Mark them as spam.
It's a BOGO.
Any other questions from the public on agenda items? Yes,
DMAC, 25 Capitol Drive. I just have a question on, you said the road is going to take a couple of weeks to open up on Ahern.
yes.
I was under the impression when that road was going to be built, that there was going to be a turning lane into the development. Is that going to be rerouted?
Now, I was also under the impression that they were only going to raise the road 2 feet.
Right?
It's now in excess of 5 feet. Our sign is in the hole.
3 feet down.
Yes.
I know that.
So something changed between the engineers and the Governor's Office of Stormwater Recovery.
Right.
The engineer that gave us the finished elevation of the sign, which was properly installed, is no longer with the engineering company. Okay, so it
So,
also looks like Ahern is more narrow
thank you.
than,
So when you're coming down 94 and you're going to make the right into the development,
yes,
how many accidents is it gonna take for it to get widened up? I mean, the road, the sidewalk was taken out already, so I don't understand what the problem is, that you can't take that guardrail down, widen the road, because when you come into the development, it's gonna be a sharp right, whereas before we had a little bit of a bend.
right.
And in the wintertime, when 94 is a sheet of ice and you're coming in, you're just gonna spin around and go the opposite way. I see nothing good happening in that turn.
Diane, all 5 of us 100% agree with you. Unfortunately, it had nothing to do with the village. And we're trying to chase it now after the fact to correct it.
Right, well, the road's not, the road's not in yet, so it can be rectified at this point, because you
Well,
said
it was one of
maybe,
the first questions when I met with Supervisor Geraldo, and one of the representatives from the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, can we put a deceleration lane on 94 to turn into Ahern? The plans are already completed. Now, what year was this? 2018? The plans were already completed, yet Orange and Rockland found the problem 7 years ago. It's on their schedule. Road is still
I'm
closed.
just making a
No,
note
I know, and
that
like
it's an accident waiting to happen there.
We agree.
And at this point, who's gonna finish Ahern Boulevard?
The
Who's
state
gonna-
and the town.
The state and the town.
So then we need to have a conversation with the town and say, can we widen the road? Because it's just not a healthy
Well-
situation.
That being said, you don't really think that 24 feet of water is going to go through a 4-foot opening of water, making the
No.
right-hand turn, by the way,
No,
then going into a 20-foot
yeah, no,
culvert,
No,
and
I-
nothing's gonna happen.
no. It's all gonna sit on this side of 94
Sure.
now. That's what I see
But they
happening.
took care of the flood with the farm. The
One more.
farm's not gonna flood anymore.
No, this side is.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, I have another question. Is there allowed camping in the village?
John Terry was looking into that today, the tent city,
Oh.
I guess we could say.
Occupy Washingtonville, is that what it's turning into?
No, he's looking at it, he's been in contact with the attorneys.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a proper code that's applicable to what we have in more recent code, and I haven't found it yet. I have a code that says you can't put any structures in the front yard. I don't think currently the use of a tent is considered a structure, but I'm working on it, so maybe the next couple of days I might
Every
come up
day
with
there's
something.
another fastball thrown or curveball. Every day.
One more question. Trailers. How many trailers are you allowed to have on your property? I thought it was one.
Like a recreational trailer?
A trailer of any kind, or a box truck. I thought there was like a height limit that you can't have a big truck parked in your front lawn.
There are codes for individual neighborhoods.
Okay,
We're
so
working
in a
on that.
residential neighborhood, how many trailers can be on your driveway?
No, it was a local law that we
Yeah.
did when you were on the board several years ago.
And I believe it was one, because several people had two, and they were mighty upset with the one. Now there's people that have 3, 4, can't get into their front door. So my concern is if there, God forbid, was a fire, the fire department's not getting in and the people aren't getting out. And it's another situation just sitting there. That's it for me.
I think, Diane, from memory, I think it was 7 feet. From memory, I think it was 7 feet.
Okay,
Was the height.
all right, so I'm 5 foot, it's probably 8 foot higher than me. I think it's not in the code.
It's all, you know, look, this is a great meeting. I hope you all return for the next one. Yes.
Sean Hegarty, 4 Belvoir Drive. I have a couple of questions. One is there any clarification on where tax money is going that we give to the town? Have they come back to you yet?
No, it hasn't come.
All right. You mentioned the monument. Are they going to raise that? Is the state going to pay to raise that monument?
The Washingtonville.
Washingtonville. You know, welcome to Washingtonville sign. I call it a monument.
Well, thank you for that.
Well, it is a monument.
Somebody is,
Because they should probably have a guardrail on that hill coming down.
yeah,
A big truck could go right into the skateboard park.
yes.
Somebody's gonna say there's a wall there, but if it's a big enough truck, it's gonna go in, and some kid may be there, maybe not.
This is a conversation, Sean, I can't tell you how many times we've had, sat down with Superintendent Martino. Is the wall gonna come down eventually? I don't know. I don't know what their thought process
Yeah.
was in designing that mess.
They've done what they did the last
It's a
time they
mess.
raised 94, there's gonna be a lot of flooding on the north side in 94.
But
And that's what they did
in
the last time.
raising the road as much as they did, our fire hydrant is too low now also.
The
fire
sewer
hydrant
cap that the
outside
lady
the
was
park.
opening up is below grade now again, after you guys raised it.
Yeah, you know, it's becoming like, we're just gonna do what we wanna do. And really, we're working here 24/7 to not let that happen. You're not going to do what you wanna do, you have to go through the process.
Maybe they got the fill cheap, that's why they filled it so much, raised it.
Maybe, I don't know. They didn't get any from Bull Road, we kept that.
Very good. I think that's all my questions.
So you had a couple of questions, not a few.
Yeah, a couple. That was 3, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, no, the floodway repair. That's
Ask
it.
the-
All right, got anything been done with that?
With
The
what?
pond off of Ahern? I gave you the pictures of it, all washed out. That was given to Hudson when he was given to Hines. Nobody's doing anything to it. And that's supposed to retain the water and let less out as we do get heavy rains. But you've seen the pictures, it's 10 feet wide instead of 3 going to 5.
Right now, on their schedule, which is full, we need to start clearing out the stream
Right.
in, right behind the dog park. We have to get water moving. We have some areas on certain roads in the backyards that has to be cleared out. It's all part of the DEC regulations, not a consent order at this point. I don't believe we have any consent orders from the DEC, thank God. I think it's 20 years is enough. So we don't have any consent orders from the DEC. They're working with us whenever they can. They're backed up too. I think they're still fighting with Westchester flooding and so forth, with Ida.
I think that's when that thing went too,
Well,
the floodway.
yeah. It's not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop water.
No, you're not gonna stop it, but the floodway's cut in a V.
Yes.
It washed out 5 feet on each side of it. So you got a 10-foot open thing and then the V. So it's just letting all the water that's supposed to be retained come out. It is now backing up on a heavy rain, come up in the pipe behind my yard. And the next one down, you'll see it coming up. Because it's backing up, it can't get out fast enough.
All I could say, and I know what you're saying, I hear what you're saying. Everyone is working as hard as they can, as long as they can. There's just a lot of things that were never, ever done in this village,
Well, I agree with that, yeah.
okay, ever.
I said you're the third set of pictures I give out of that floodway.
You know, and it's
Hopefully something gets done.
unfortunate that now this board is looking at things that were never done. We put a catch basin in a cul-de-sac that should have been in during the building process, okay, 37 years ago. How does that lay on this board? What does this board have to do with anything? You weren't even here 37 years ago. You were a twinkle in our eye, but this is what we're dealing with.
And you're doing a good job.
It's taken time. Each day we go out and you know, what do we have to do now? All right, let's put this on the schedule. Where do we get the money for it to do? You know, I'm dealing with FEMA every day regarding Bull Road, every day.
Yeah, I believe
They
it.
are gonna be paying for it. I don't know if I'll be alive when the check comes, but every day I get a phone call I'm talking with FEMA. Every day.
All right. That's all done, right?
Bull Road's open.
Show me the money.
If you want to hide from anyone, go in Bull Road Culvert. It could probably fit everyone in here. That's not going anywhere, all right? There were unforeseen problems, we took care of them. 100 Rockland, I guess, is behind. Anyone else for non-agenda?
You had mentioned earlier about rezoning certain parcel. Can you have a little clarity about where, what you're looking to rezone and rezone to what?
There's a parcel of land on 208, okay, that's residential agricultural. The owner wants to come in and try to rezone,
To what?
probably commercial.
Again.
We could keep residential if that's what you want. Yes,
Susan Wolski, 24 South Street. Your comment, by the way, earlier about the flag at half-staff, the governor did order flags at half-staff for the Buffalo mass shooting.
no, it wasn't that one.
Okay,
It's
and
okay.
if you're gonna get into proper flag etiquette, your flags are not in compliance. Your American flag should always be the tallest pole. You're a little short there.
Yeah.
Just a little stickler for that. In regards to the DPW, I think it's time, and this has been batted around a couple of decades, that the village get into earnest conversations with the town of Blooming Grove about the possibility of a merger with the highway department, and would it be cost effective on the taxes for the residents of the village? So all I'm asking is that you do a competitive cost analysis. Would it work in the best interest of the residents if we could combine those services?
You know, there's two different services, right?
I do,
Good.
But it's, if you can combine manpower, which is a huge part of the tax bill,
The village has asked the town, and the town has asked the village on certain projects to work together, and we have.
correct.
Why is it the village has to merge with the town? Why doesn't the town merge with the village?
Well, again, that's a conversation I'm saying should take place between the two different municipalities to do for all the taxpayers, not just for the village, but for the town as well. If services can be combined and we can all save a couple bucks in our pocket, why not at least look and see? It may not be feasible, I'll be quite honest, but we don't know until a hard look is taken at those numbers and what could be combined.
Anyone else? It's only 8:30, I'm sure you don't want to go home.
Quick, motion to dismiss.
We're going to adjourn from this meeting and go into executive session regarding personnel. We will not be coming out. Thank you very much for all of your thoughts and comments today. Please enjoy the hot weather.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
I don't know.